Have you ever watched someone on TV and felt like the world suddenly makes sense? That's what happened when Steve Ray Ladson stepped on the AGT stage. But before the confetti and the golden buzzer, he was a kid in a small South Carolina town singing in church, learning 10 instruments, and crafting a sound nobody expected. Today, the things you didn't know about Steve Ray Ladson. The gospel roots, the road that hardened his voice, the struggles he kept private, and the one moment that changed everything. Stick around. This is the story behind the standing ovation. Steve Ray Ladson wasn't born on a label or birthed into a music industry dynasty. He was born on a farm in Hopkins, South Carolina, October 9, 1989, where the church bell was louder than the radio. That church wasn't just a building, it was his first stage. His father was a pastor. His mother played instruments at home, and his brother, Stanley Roy Ladson, fronted a gospel group. So music was not a weekend hobby, it was family business. Cut to a teenage Steve singing with cousins and relatives in gospel quartets, long drives, small venues, Sunday services. Those early tours weren't glamorous. They were practice, training, and humility, the kind that rubs off and becomes a person's backbone. That farm life, it shows up in his lyrics, in the way he sings about the open road and the back of a truck. Those images are not theatrical. They're memory. Here's a detail people forget. Steve isn't just a singer. He's an instrument collector in human form. Banjo, dobro, piano, Hammond organ, lead guitar, bass, accordion, spoons, harmonica, you name it, he's played it. That versatility came from scarcity and curiosity. When you grow up in a place without a music conservatory, you learn to do everything, to make your own band out of whatever's available. That training made him more than a vocalist. It made him an arranger and a producer. When he writes a song, he hears every part, not just the melody, but where the harmonica breathes, where the organ lifts, where the banjo snaps. That's why his originals feel like small cinematic worlds. Steve's sound didn't come from one place. It's a crossroads. On one shoulder, Robert Johnson and classic Delta blues, storytellers who taught him how to wrap truth in melody. On the other, quartet gospel, the harmonies and the emotional weight you feel in a sanctuary. Add a little Sonny Boy Williamson for harmonica grit, R&B for soul, and country for twang. And out of all that, Steve coined his own name for the mix, Blackgrass Brothercana, a mouthful that captures a simple truth. He's blending black musical traditions with bluegrass and Americana, not to erase either but to build a bridge. That fusion is not trendy, it's ancestral. It's a musician honoring lineage while daring to rearrange it. Before AGT, Steve paid dues the old way, the road. A major chapter in his life was touring with the Blind Boys of Alabama, a legendary gospel group with multiple Grammys. Imagine learning stagecraft not in a classroom, but shoulder to shoulder with artists who have performed for decades. That experience changes you. It teaches dynamics, restraint, and how to build a moment that lands. Those tours also took him across the world. Dubai, Europe, halls where audiences heard gospel in a dozen languages. That global exposure sharpened his arrangement skills and expanded his palette. More rhythms, more reactions, more stories to stitch into songs. In 2020, Steve released an EP called Country Boy, a title that tells you everything about his intent. He's a country soul with grit. Tracks like Get Along, Lean Into Unity. They're not just catchy lines, they're mission statements. Then came originals like Back of My Truck, a song that would later become the audition that redirected his life. These weren't label-manufactured singles. They were crafted in the mindset of a musician who arranges, produces, and writes from lived experience. You know the clip. Steve steps on stage, banjo in hand, and opens with Back of My Truck. The judges lean in. Simon calls it a guaranteed hit. The crowd goes quiet and then erupts. He sails through to the live rounds. But the quarterfinals? That's the moment that defines the story. Boots Like Mine. It's electric. Mid-song, Sofia Vergara slams the golden buzzer. Confetti rains. For an artist built on church gigs and long bus rides, that confetti is a kind of validation, not just of talent, but of a life of consistent work. It's also a psychological turning point for an audience. We love an underdog, but we crave justice, and the golden buzzer feels like justice handed to the deserving. That emotion is what turned Steve into a household name overnight. Not all of his milestones are on TV. There are quieter moments that tell you who he is. A horseback interview where he talks about life lessons, viral trail ride videos that capture his joy, and fans who say his songs healed them on a hard day. Those are the human moments that sit beside awards, the ones that give a life texture. And now the part most people don't see. Growing up black in a rural southern town, tackling country and bluegrass as a black artist means pushing against invisible barriers. Country spaces haven't always been welcoming to artists who look like him, doing what he does. Combine that with the financial grind of gospel tours, modest pay, long travel, and you get years of hustle that rarely make headlines. Blackgrass Brothercana is a creative answer to that problem. If you're going to be boxed out of genres, invent your own lane and invite everyone in. The cost of that bravery is uneven recognition and the constant need to prove yourself. AGT didn't erase those years, it rewarded them. Steve Ray Ladson's story matters because it's both specific and universal. It's about family and farm, about church and the road, about learning 10 instruments and writing songs that ask people to get along. It's about the courage to fuse traditions and the patience to let the world catch up. Whether he wins the AGT crown or not, he has already widened the definition of who can play bluegrass, who can write country, and who can claim the American musical story as their own. If you learned something new about Steve Ray Ladson, do this. Like the video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which fact surprised you most. Was it his 15-year road life, his multi-instrument dexterity, or the golden buzzer moment? Thanks for watching, and remember, every big stage starts with a small town and a stubborn song.